Humans of the Cardboard. Huge news tonight. We've got the first reveals for, what is this called? This is Legacy of Destruction, I believe, is the name of this set. And they came out with an archetype that is just Yugi's favorite monsters from the end of the anime, the original anime series. So around the time where Yugi and the Pharaoh duel each other to kind of like decide if Yugi's fine to be on his own, whatever, at the very end of the series. A lot of the cards used there, they just pretty much took them, gave them retrains, and formed them into a cohesive archetype, apparently. I've not read any of these, but I've seen a lot of these cards. It makes me very happy because I remember seeing these cards be used in the anime and thinking they were so cool. They were never very good, competitively or anything, but hopefully maybe there's at least something going on here in that regard. But let's get into it. Starting off first, we have a new Gandora monster. This is Gandora, the Dragon of Destruction. Level 8 Dark Dragon effect monster, 0/0 for the stats. First and third effects are hard ones per turn. If you control Gold Sarcophagus of Light, you can special summon this card from your hand. Okay, we'll see if that comes up here. Gains 300 attack for each card banished. Okay. And you can pay half your life points as cost to destroy as many other cards on the field as possible. And if you do, banish them. Then special summon a level 7 or lower monster from your deck that mentions Gold Sarc of Light. And if you do, increase its level by the number of cards destroyed by this effect. Whoa, okay, that is super interesting. So, just basically here, extends if you just have Gold Sarc of Light. Hopefully that's a pretty easy card to get access to in the archetype. The plus 300 is fine. I guess it helps you push for damage after you've gone, maybe going second. Like you use this to wipe the board going second, and then you push for damage, which is fine. Although I can't imagine you're banishing so many things, but it's okay. Then pay off your life points. Destroy as many other cards on the field, and if you do, banish them. So I'm assuming that means we're banishing our own Gold Sarcophagus of Light, even if we're going first. And obviously, like anything going second, everything going second. But then you summon a level 7 or lower, which I'm assuming is going to be pretty much the rest of the monsters revealed here. And then you get to modify their levels. Okay, very interesting. Okay, it's a good start. I think this is just straight up a good card. We'll see how much this being reliant on Gold Sarc of Light is going to matter, but seems like a good start. Okay, next up here we have Silent Swordsman 0. I love it. I remember loving these guys. I thought they were so cool. The Swordsmans and the Magicians I thought were so cool. Level 4 Light Warrior, Rhoda target. We'll see if that matters. 1,000 for the stats. Third effects are hard once per turn. Once per turn during each standby phase, increase this card's level by 1. Okay. While this card's current level is higher than its original level, it gains attack equal to the difference times 500. Okay. Wow. Okay. So that's actually not too shabby. I mean, just kind of put him at the point where he's able to taking that old classic effect from the silent cards and giving him actually a pretty significant buff here, especially if we're like destroying multiple cards here and then being able to summon him and then maybe even increases, like, honestly, there's a world where we're able to destroy like a lot of cards and literally buff this guy's level up to 12, in which case he would gain 4,000 attack. So he would just be 5,000, which is kind of interesting. That actually can get very big very quick. Third effect, when your opponent activates a card or effect that targets Gold Sarcophagus of Light and or a monster that mentions it, you control. Quick effect, negate the activation, and if you do, increase this card's level by 1. Not great. I was really hoping that would be a little bit stronger. I hate these targeting negation effects. They're so garbage. So to me, this card, honestly, maybe is a one-of, just so that way being able to summon him out of the deck, maybe off of Gandora, and increase his level a bunch, like that, I guess, gets him really big, and that can help you like walk over stuff, break through boards potentially. But this third effect is not nearly enough. I mean, I guess if the deck is revolving around Gold Sarc of Light, that's nice to be able to protect it from a targeting protection, but like, it's just not enough. This needed to be like a blanket negate, not just a targeting negate. But I don't know. Not the worst card in the just because it can be a giant beater, but not amazing by any means. Okay, next up, Silent Magician 0, of course. Another one I loved as a kid is a level 4 light spellcaster. 0/0 for the stats. You can only use the third effect once per turn. If your opponent draws a card, increase this card by the number drawn. This is not once per turn, and it's also not restrictive on draw phase. So I think if your opponent just draws for turn, gain a level, and then any other time from there, it still continues to gain levels. While this card's current attack level is higher than its original level, it gains attack equal to the difference times 500. That's also really cool. So this one can actually get quite big as well the more your opponent attempts to play. That's cool. And of course, being able to summon it off of Gandora and increase its level that way can work. Next, when your opponent activates a spell card or effect and you controlled Gold Sark of Light, quick effect, negate the activation, and if you do increase this card's level by 1, now that is just better. This needed to, like, this should have just been monster effect. This should have been spell effect. So that way you got, like, utility depending on which one you summoned. And they did different things, but no, this one's way worse. So Silent Magician is way, way better for sure. Tricolor Gadget, a new Gadget monster. I don't know if this having Gadget in the name actually allows it to work with any of the other Gadget cards, but that already exist, but that's cool. I remember Yugi being the first one to use the Gadgets as well. Level 4 Earth Machine, of course. 13 attack, 1100 defense, 2 hard ones per turns. If this card is normal or special, you can add 1 Gold Sark of Light or a spell or trap that mentions it from deck to hand. We've got a Rhoda. We got our first official starter for the archetype. Very nice. If this card is destroyed by battle or card effect, you can set 1 Stronghold of Hidden Fortress directly from your deck. I'm assuming that's another card we're going to see here. That's cool. I do like that this is either player. So you can destroy this. You can normal summon this to get your play started. Destroy this with Gandora to like summon out like 0 to get a spell negate. And then also be able to set whatever this is. I'm assuming it's a trap if you're setting it, most likely. And hopefully that's another interruption as well. Okay, I can see that being cool, especially if Gold Sark is a legit like card that maybe gets you to Gandora, then this becomes a lot more interesting, but we'll see. And the last one here is Marshmallon. Okay, a new Marshmallon card. Amazing. This is a level 3 light fairy effect monster. 300 attack, 500 defense. First and third effects are hard ones per turn. During your opponent's turn, if you control Gold Sark of Light, quick effect, you can special summon this card from your hand. Okay. Extends, but only on the opponent's turn. Maybe it's a hand trap. While you control Gold Sark of Light, this card cannot be destroyed by battle. Also, your opponent's monsters cannot target other monsters for attacks. Okay, it's like a battle protection card. And if this card is destroyed by card effect, you can special summon one of your other Marshmallon that is banished or in hand, deck, or graveyard. And if you do, inflict 1,000 to your opponent. So I guess it's like sort of a resource card if you're able to like get it on field, so that way you can Gandora, destroy this card, get extra levels and extra, you know, stuff from that, and then also still float with this. So that way, like, you could potentially pop like your Marshmallon and your Tricolor Gadget, and then get something with like extra levels, and like this gets you the trap, this gets you another body of Marshmallon, and maybe that's just good value. Not sure if it's worth it because it doesn't extend turn 1. It can't get itself on the field during your turn 1, so I don't know if it'll be worth playing, but has some interesting effects for sure. Maybe it's a 1-of, we'll see. Or it can't be a 1-of, I guess it'd have to be at least a 2-of. We'll see. Okay, then the card that really, really matters, this card has to be good, or this archetype probably falls apart. This is Gold Sark of Light, continuous spell, second and third effects, hard once per turn. Cannot be destroyed by monster effects. That's kind of nice. Wow, okay, that's already like, that's just, the fact that that's just built in, that means it can't be destroyed by the Gandora effect. Nice, okay. Second effect, during your main phase, you can add 1 card from your deck to your hand that mentions Gold Sark of Light. So this card does get you Gandora, which means your Tricolor Gadget actually gets you quite a bit, because he goes normal summon, add Gold Sark of Light, activate Gold Sark of Light, search Gandora summon itself, then use his effect to destroy Tricolor Gadget and nothing else. You summon the girl, your magician, so that way she gives you a spell negate. Then your Gadget's going to also set you the trap from deck. Okay, cool. And then the third effect, if your opponent special summons a monster from the graveyard, you can discard 1 spell, then target one of those monsters, send it to the graveyard. Weird third effect. That to me is like a bonus effect. Obviously the second effect is the big one. The first effect's really nice to add just like an inherent level of protection for this card. Third effect's weird. It's an interruption, but it's such a specific interruption. It has to be a summon from graveyard. You have to discard a spell, and then I guess it's like decent, but you have to hold a spell card in hand, and your opponent has to summon from grave. And you only get to send one of the monsters sent from grave. So summon from grave. So I don't know. Still an amazing card overall, but yeah, interesting. Okay, cool. The deck is live because of that. This is Silence of Time, or Turn Silence, whatever. This is a quick play spell. You can only activate one card with this card's name per turn. Target one face-up monster you control. Increase its level by 3. And if you activated this card in response to your opponent's monster activation while you controlled Gold Sark of Light and a monster that mentions it, negate that effect. Second effect, if your monster that mentions Gold Sark of Light battles during damage calculation, you can banish this card from grave to end the battle phase. So, whatever. I think that second effect's like, whatever. I don't expect that to come up too much. Theoretically, I guess you could keep your opponent from being able to make Zeus versus you because of something like this, but I think the main effect is obviously this. It's a battle trick that has the potential to just actually be like a pretty good negate card. Problem is you just have to kind of set up everything. You have to get Gold Sark up and a monster that lists it, which is not the worst because like you can just start with Tricolor and that does it. I don't think this is a card you want to play at 3. There's maybe a world where you play it at 2. But most likely for me, this is a utility card. If you're searching for this, it's because you already have Gold Sark. So I don't think, you know what I mean? This is not a card you really want to open without anything else. You need to open it with ways to get the full setup. So it's just okay to me. It's a nice utility card. Maybe it's a 1 of or a 2 of, but definitely to me, not a 3 of. Next up here we have Ties of the Comrades, a normal spell card. You can only activate one card with this card's name per turn. If you control Gold Sarcophagus of Light and a monster that mentions it, you can special summon monsters from the... Oh, you cannot special summon monsters from the extra deck for the rest of this turn after this card resolves. Also, special summon up to 2 level 4 or lower monsters with different names from your hand or deck that mention Gold Sarcophagus of Light. Okay, so summon 2, but it has to be the level 4 or lower. So any of the 4 here that aren't Gandora, that card probably makes it so that Swordsman's at least a 1 of in the deck, because like why not? It gives you that, it makes it a little bit harder for your opponent to play through your board. You're going to also get the spell negate for sure, and then if you hadn't already started with Tricolor Gadget, you might as well summon him because he's going to get you just another spell or trap. And then we'll see about Marshmallon. That's a pretty decent card, but again, takes some setup. You have to have Gold Sark and a monster that mentions it, so pretty powerful. I can't imagine this is like a 3 of. It's probably like a 1 of or a 2 of for like lines where you like have Gold Sark and you're able to use Sark to search this and then summon from there. But yeah, pretty interesting. Pretty cool. All right, one more quick play spell, Silence Towards the Future. Quick play spell, you can only activate one card with this card's name per turn. Add one monster from your deck to your hand that mentions Gold Sark of Light. Then if you activate this card during the battle phase while you controlled Gold Sark of Light, and a monster that mentions it, each player draws until they have 6 cards in hand. Oh my god. Okay. By default, this card is really good because it's just a Rhoda. That was really nice because I was looking at this and I was like, I guess Gold Sark itself is a starter, and so is Tricolor, but is that it? And this gives us 3 legitimate starters in the deck. 3 of starters. It's a quick play, so you kind of play around Droll a little bit with this card in draw phase. Not a bad card. I can't imagine we're firing this too often. Like, are we going to play into Nib in some hands by letting our opponent draw 6? Like, I don't know. Unless, like, we want the 6 because, like, we need it to kill in the battle phase. Like, that's the only thing I can think of. The only other thing I can think of here, too, is with specifically the girl. If you have the girl on field and you let your opponent draw a million cards and then she gains, all the way to level 12 because your opponent just drew 5 or 6 cards, then she can just like punch your opponent for 5,000 and win the game on the spot. So that's the idea there, but I guess if they draw Imperm or Veiler or something, they could just turn her effect off, and that's a bummer anyway. And now your opponent has 5 cards to play next turn. So I don't know about that one fully, but just as a Rhoda, as a quick play Rhoda, this card's already really good, of course. And the last card here we have is Stronghold, the Hidden Fortress. This is a continuous trap. This is the card you can search off of the Gadget guy. Hopefully this is a good interruption here. We'll see. Continuous Trap. Special summon this card as an effect monster. So this is a Machine Earth level 4, 0 attack, 2000 offense with these effects, and it's also still considered a trap. Gains 1000 attack for each card you control that is Gold Sark of Light or a monster that mentions it. Okay, so it gets a little bigger. And then once per turn, when an opponent's monster declares an attack and you control Gold Sark of Light, you can destroy that monster. This card's terrible. Kind of a bummer that, like, literally every card here has utility, and then they just made this one, which is, like, so clearly the worst card in the archetype, and you get it for free. So it's like you want to play it, but if you ever hard draw this, you're like, wow, this is the deadest card I've ever had in a hand. Because, like, I could have gotten it for free anyway, and it does nothing. That card's terrible. I mean, I guess it's an extender, like, sort of, but it's on the opponent's turn. It just doesn't do anything. Wow, that's kind of a bummer letdown. Okay, so all in all, honestly, not too shabby. There's some really good stuff here. Literally, other than the only two letdowns for me are that Swordsman 0 is his interruption effect is so underwhelming. It should have just been a straight monster negate, to be honest. So kind of bummed that it isn't, but okay. And then the trap. The fact that we get this for free, but, like, now I don't even want it. You may just play this deck and not play it, even though you could just get it for free, like, so freely. That's a big bummer, I think. But honestly, every other thing, like a Rhoda, a pretty nasty extender for certain lines to let you end on more monsters, a decent little utility like interruption card, not bad. Sark of Light is crazy, right? Protects itself, it's a Rhoda, and it is technically an interruption as well by itself. Like, not a bad card at all. Marshmallon's weird, but, like, I can understand the utility of it to, like, rotate resources. Tricolor Gadget's your Stratos, so he's just an automatic 3 of. Silent Magician is good. Spell Negate, love it. This guy's underwhelming. And then Gandora is a pretty nasty extender as well. So yeah, all in all, you know, I don't hate it. I like that it's pretty open-ended, that, like, any other anime cards that Yugi used in this time frame that they wanted to just add to this archetype, put Gold Sark in its text, and then boom, it's in there. That's nice. So it's a little bit open-ended there. I don't think it's too crazy competitive out the gate. There's no restrictions here whatsoever other than, like, when you resolve this spell card. But other than that, there is no other restriction to the entire archetype. So maybe we can combine it with some other stuff as well. We'll have to wait and see on that. But all in all, pretty interesting. So that's it for me here, guys. Sorry, went a little bit in depth on this one. Let me know your thoughts down below on this new archetype. Let me know if there's anything you think makes sense as, like, an archetype to combine it with, how good you think it is. If it feels like I'm underselling it or overselling it, let me know on that. But I'm out of here for today. Thank you so much for watching, as always, guys. Subscribe to the channel if you want to see more things Yu-Gi-Oh! News down the line, and I will see you in the next video. Peace.